And here we go. Another week. Welcome to the Ron and John Show, where we are known
from coast to coast like butter and toast. We can make ISIS surrender or die, or make even the nerdiest guy look kind of fly. We can sing like we've been drinking all night long, and we can drink like we've been singing all night long. So if you're looking for a good time, don't you delay. Tune into the Ron and John Show, because me and this Ranger, we lead the way.
Boom. Well, brother.
Boom, brother. I got an Indonesian battle axe, and you got tongs. What's up, man?
Well, I got it. I got a spatula too. I mean, I bet that's any better. What you?
Yeah. Hey, so it's unfortunate, man, that our man Chef Andre Rush had some travel disruptions, and he's stuck in an airport now, and he doesn't have the ability to, get over to, to anywhere to get on the show. So we'll reschedule him as soon as we can, But
yeah.
Hey, this is just an hour for you and I to bullshit now, man.
It is. But I mean, shit. I got all dressed up for him, and got
I know, man.
Little chef thing going and everything. That's all right.
Yeah.
It's actually when I found out that he couldn't be here, I figured I'd just gear up anyway.
Yeah. Hey, so I was going to ask him, and we'll get him on. Hopefully in September we'll get him on the show. But the dude does 2,222 push-ups a day.
What?
To honor, 2,222 push-ups a day to honor the 22-a-day veterans that commit suicide. Unbelievable. And you wonder why the guy's got 24-inch arms.
No kidding. He's got that. Who else is on that diet? That's Herschel Walker, isn't that? Like he does something like 1,000 a day and sit-ups, push-ups. All.
Yeah.
So that's his routine. He did, and I'm sure there's other things, but yeah, I hope he doesn't skip leg day.
Yeah. So we'll get him on in the past, but we are still in the middle of our health, wellness, and fitness. And talking about physical, mental, and emotional health. And brother, we did something that was absolutely brutal and unforgiving, but it was fun at the same time, man. And we did some carrying heavy shit Sunday. What'd you think, man?
Oh man, I'm still feeling it here a little bit, from carrying that heavy shit. But at first was kind of dreading it. Looking down at that damn stone, wondering, oh man, don't want to be the bastard that lets this thing roll down the hill. But as in anything, we look at it, it's a little bit daunting. It's like, oh shit. And then once you get into the groove of things, and once you start to get moving and start to see the team come together and everyone kind of pitch in and do their thing, you're like, let's just get this shit done. Let's keep it moving. And it ended up being a fantastic day and something that I look forward to. So,
hey, Vic, if you could pull up the picture of the equipment so we can show the audience kind of what we were carrying that day.
There we go.
So you see Ron's got his foot on the 70-pound heavy bag there, like, how heavy is this shit kind of thing. And if you look in there, we had an 80-pound stone, a 35-pound kettlebell, a 30-pound dumbbell. We had some 8-pound weights, and what you don't see in there is that damn 70-pound kettlebell, man.
That was like the fat man and little boy all put together into one.
Yeah, and you see me over there. I'm kind of making sure we don't get lost and making sure that we got the compass going and everything. But hey, and then and Vic, if you could show the group photo, look at there. Man, look at that. Who's that guy? Someone give this guy a sandwich, man. Look at you over there, man. You're in grape smugglers, got that thing all over your back and everything. What's going on there, brother?
I didn't want to disappoint. I mean, you put out the uniform to me. You told me what I needed to be in. And, at this point when I had it this time, I think that's kind of what did it. I was like, holy shit. I'm trying to forget the days I had a ruck this big on my back. I've carried heavier, unfortunately, but it was definitely a test when you're going uphill with that damn thing. It definitely it's a separator. We'll say it's a separator.
Think of this, brother. So we walked with this equipment, and there's all our teammates over there on the right.
Yeah.
we walked with this equipment for 4 miles, and we had to switch off and everything. And I would say in the space of that 4 miles, between me and you and Mike Villano and Dustin, you know, and Monty Jefferson, we probably cleaned that 80-pound stone about 30 to 35 times a piece. And then we had to suplex that bag on our back about the same amount of time. So you're talking about, it was, and I tell this all the time, it is just brutal and unforgiving. Now, if we could pull up the picture of Ron and I and Monty. Victoria,
there you go. Yeah,
there you go. Hey, that's when, hey, we had carried the heavy stuff for 4 miles. Now we're just out going for a walk for another 3.2 miles, brother. And we were all smiles then, you know. It was, there was a few cries on that first lap, but that second lap was all smiles, man. You know?
Yeah. Well, wait, and the other part is, what's up with Monty at the end? The last, I don't know, it had to have been a good 75 meters with that big turn that he took, but he took that damn stone and sprinted all the way back to the Tahoe.
Hey, you know, the guy just retired, and I think he is celebrating his retirement a little bit, and he wanted to get that little in. You know, this is why when we're talking about our health, wellness, and fitness, what we're getting after now, I've told people all the time, and when I was the SEAC, when you go through something like we did, that 3.5-hour workout that we did, and you see the commitment that your teammates put in to get the mission accomplished, you know that when times are bad, that you can count on those people. If they're not afraid to get out and get after it, because when we went up that first steep hill and we got to the top and we took our first break, and nobody had a look on their face of saying, I want to quit. And I knew then we were going to smoke this. And even though it sucked, it's designed to suck. So, you know, we all got through it together, man. And I thought it was, what a way to build a team through shared hardships. And then we had to stop halfway and we had to celebrate Monty's retirement. So tell the audience how we celebrated, Ron.
Well, the only way that we can, and that we become a tradition now, is with that soju, you know. So soju all the way around at the locks there. Gosh, there must have been about maybe 12, 15 of us, the whole group there, and we had a couple of shots in Monty's honor, and yeah, it was great. It was a good time. Policed ourselves up, and then started that to take the equipment back to the truck, which I don't know if you've ever, I don't know if anyone has ever done some crazy ass PT and then had to drink some beers or some shots in the middle of it, and then going back to do some crazy ass PT. Your cardio goes like that.
Yes. Yeah, the gas tank goes in a hurry. I mean, we drank 4 bottles of soju, and the first thing I picked up was that 80-pound stone, and the world kind of did a 360 on me when I started carrying that thing. And I said, the last thing I want to do is fall off this dock with this freaking stone. So, yeah, but it was all good, man. You know?
Yeah, it's exactly. But, who was it that was saying the last time? It was on the last show. They said, you know, John Wayne Troxel, he'll torture you, but he's going through it with you, so you can't really bitch about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's the point of being a leader. You know, if you're going to challenge your span of control, the people that you're responsible for, you better be challenging yourself with them. You know, and doing the Iron Mike and saying, "Follow me," and do it. You know,
that's right.
But it was absolutely brutal, man. But I'll tell you, I came home after that, brother. What did I tell you I was going to do when we were walking that last part, you know, of the hike? What did I tell you I was going to do?
You said you're going to go home, drink a protein shake, maybe slip on your boots, and then drink beer for the rest of the afternoon.
Sat in my backyard drinking beer the rest of the day, and that's the best feeling, you know.
Yeah.
And you know this. I mean, whenever you've done something hard like that really challenged you, and you know, now you recovered. You know, I got home, I took my protein shake, I took a shower and everything, and I told Sandra, if you want me, call the backyard, because I'll be sitting up there drinking cool beers, you know. So yeah, that's what I did.
Yeah, watching the grandkids run around all over the place, I bet.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hey, so how was the rest of your week, man?
Well, it was good, brother. We you know, that day about the same, just kind of winded everything down. Let's see. Monday morning, got up bright and early, you know, knocked out some recovery PT, a nice little recovery run. Showered up, headed out the door, and then I heard this little, you know, pitter patter, and I'm like, what the hell is that? Everything was off. I'm like thinking, okay, well, these are, you know, when you hear some shit that's not supposed to make that sound, it's not as we say, an unnatural sound in the woods. Come to find out, it was water leaking from my from the fire sprinkler from the ceiling into the kitchen floor, and I'm thinking, oh shit, what the hell's that? The shower, right? So,
oh man.
Documented that, made a couple panic calls, had the plumber come out, and apparently it's just kind of normal wear and tear. It wasn't anything crazy. It was the shower. It's an insert, so it's going to have to be pulled out so they can air everything out. But apparently around the drain there, over time, those things just break loose, and that cracks and weathers and everything like that, and then it leaks. So not as catastrophic as I thought, which was great. But maybe I get a new bathroom out of it, you know, new shower or something like that. But yeah, then and then you know what? When it rains, it pours. So then yesterday, right in the middle of it, about 9:30, 9:45, my phone takes a shit. The Apple thing, just a bite of the apple, I could have thrown that damn thing out the window because it just sat there. And ended up going to get a new phone and all that. And I was just thinking to myself, I was like, you know, if this was years ago, and this is no shit, if this was about, I'd say 5 years ago, 5.5 years ago, I would have thrown this damn thing out somewhere. I'd have probably been halfway into a bottle somewhere. I would have been doing something stupid, out of my head, out of my emotions, because it was things that I couldn't control, and I didn't know how to not be in control of things, you know. But instead, rolled with the punches, made some phone calls, did what I had to do, you know. Took a little beat on the pride of the ego for selecting a spot that was closed with you.
Yeah.
And not in the middle of all that. But you know, brother, that's the thing I think is what we're getting at too, is with the PME side of things, is that being able to just handle shit that life throws your way and say, well, fuck, that's life, man. You know, let's just keep this moving in the best way that we can, as positive as we can. You can't let it get you down. It's life. Things are going to happen that you can't control. But what you can control is your outcome. And one thing that I love that to repeat to everybody that you say is, you know, you're in control of your answer. You know, you're in control of whatever it is that's thrown at you, and what is your reply going to be to that? So, and here we are, you know, and pushing through, and that's been on my mind. So,
yeah. So, you know, I was on a podcast Monday called Beyond the Uniform. It will air on the 10th and the 17th of August.
Yeah.
And then on my Motivation Monday message was kind of similar, and it talks about, you know, I use this phrase, don't get lost in your own museum. You know? Right. All of us throughout our military careers or in business have done some things that we're pretty proud of, you know, some high level accomplishments, and have won awards and everything. But we have to leverage that to draw as experience for what's happening now and in the future. And too many times I see people stuck in an identity that was decades ago, you know, and they want to continue to be that way. And when it comes to being in the military or business doing things like that, when you keep saying, remember when, and you're not saying, here's what we're going to do, and here's what we're going to accomplish and everything, pretty soon it becomes the lowest form of conversation, you know, remember when can be, because it's not adding to anything. It's just somebody regurgitating a war story or whatever. And pretty soon that person that lives in the past will start becoming irrelevant, complacent, and in the end marginalized. It'll be like, oh shit, here comes Storyteller 7 again, you know? You know? And don't get me wrong, war stories are good. Stories are good as long as they are drawing on that experience on how to fix a current problem or reach a current goal or for what we're going to do in the future.
Right.
If it's just to sit around and say, hey, remember when we did this? You know, I mean, I just, too many people get stuck like that. And when I call it, you know, because we all have an I love me wall, you know? I mean, where we got stuff up, you know, college degrees, all of these credentials we may have had, and they're up on our wall. That's kind of our museum.
Yeah.
And sometimes people can get lost in that because they're too busy looking around and admiring all the shit on the wall instead of going out and creating some good shit now and drawing all these experiences here. And those people that end up being lost in their museum can be irrelevant in a hurry.
Yeah, and you know, one of the things that when I first got out, I became a recruiter, a technical recruiter, and like a headhunter basically. And I remember I had gotten the largest contract for that year, and it was a great feeling. But then the following week, the conversation became, Ron, because I was learning this new profession.
Yeah.
They said, "Ron, you're only as good as your last contract. You know, you're only as good as your last placement. You know, what have you done recently?" So, yeah, it's you got to keep it going and keep it consistent. But yeah, it looks like we got somebody here.
Oh yeah, hey, that's our teammate Candace. She rocked it out on the carrying heavy shit too, man.
She sure did. She got under that stone as well. So she says, you both have a lot of experience traveling and maintaining health. What do you recommend for keeping a healthy diet during travel? That's a good one.
Well, what I recommend is always have a healthy snack readily available. You know, one thing I've learned, and this kind of started during Ranger School, starving all the time, as you know, but then through my bodybuilding years from 96 to 99, where I was starving all the time, trying to get my body fat down to like 2%. And it was easy for me to think about food all the time. But when you have peace of mind, when you have healthy snacks with you, and you're not relying on the airplane or you're not relying on the food in the airport or something like that, it'll go a long way for you. And in the end, I'll do this. And I will tell you, I kind of bulked up a little bit after I left the military. And now for the last 3 weeks, I've been eating clean again. And you have to get your mind to the point of, am I hungry? Am I starving? Am I famished? Where am I at? And, you know, if I'm hungry, then I'll just eat a little bit, you know. But every time if you think you're looking at food and you're famished, then you're going to overeat, you know. So I really try to have healthy snacks around me all the time. And in the end, if you're trying to lose weight and trying to stay on weight, at a certain point you're gonna be hungry, and you just got to deal with it. You know, I deal with it by staying super hydrated. You know, because as long as I'm taking in water or, you know, something like that, you know, it kind of plays a trick on my mind that, you know, I am, you know, staying healthy or staying. I'm putting something in my mouth, bottom line. But and then I give myself a reward day. You know, and like Sunday, after we did that, I burned 2,300 calories on that freaking PT, that almost 4-hour PT session. I burned 2,300 calories. I was not coming home to have celery stalks, carrots, and grapes, brother. Sorry, that was not going to happen. And I told myself I am going to come home and I am going to eat the shit out of something. And guess what? We had Church's chicken, one of my favorites, man. Nice. And I must have took down like 3 freaking barnyard pimps and, you know, 2 or 3 rolls and a bunch of freaking French fries, man. And then polished it off with 4 or 5 beers, man.
Yeah.
But that was my reward, you know, for all
Right.
that hard work. Now, ever since then, I've cleaned my diet up again, and I'm back on the freaking celery sticks and shit, and protein drinks and eating healthy. But the bottom line is, as long as you have healthy snacks with you, you can prevent yourself from, you know, going to McDonald's or Five Guys or something like that. What about you? What do you like to do, brother?
What I do, brother, is I've been into this intermittent fasting. And so for me, maintaining that schedule it's pretty easy. It's coffee bulletproofed in the morning usually. You know, what I've been doing recently is actually something I learned from Griff. Is I bulletproof it a little differently. I put the butter in there, but I also put some turmeric, some cinnamon, and a couple shots of protein. And that's what I kick my morning off with. Hit some cardio. And then from there on, I guess I stay hydrated. Whether I'm going to jump on a plane, I'm moving, but just that burn will sustain me usually until about 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and that's when I'm ready to start grazing on something. But like you said, healthy snacks. I favor like the high fatty nuts, like walnuts. You know, some almonds. I don't travel with dairy too much, like the cheeses and dried meats and stuff like that. But just something that's going to kind of keep me going and moving until I get to my destination, and then I can make good choices. And then even then, if I'm at the airport, I think it still comes back to making good choices. You know, I don't always have to have that Krispy Kreme. I don't always have to, you know, when I get to Colorado and see we see the folks out there, just because they have the deck of donuts doesn't mean I got to grab one every time I walk by. So that's what I think it is. If you're outside of your routine, you can't do your meal prep. You know, just stick with your routine and try something like that. So who else?
Hey, Vic, can you pull up? Yeah, there's our man, Cliffy Clayton.
There he is. Let's see. Do you think it's better to change up your PT routine or stick to the same one? I've been running 5 to 10 miles every day, and I'm wondering if I should focus more on upper body. Also, are you still running the weekly Zoom PT sessions? Oh, I've got go. You want to take this one, brother?
So, I would absolutely change up your routine. I will tell you that I train 6 days a week. 3 days are run days. That's every other day of running, and it's every other day of strength and conditioning. Normally, I'm doing high intensity interval training, which Ron, you've been with me on the Zoom PT sessions and everything. But sometimes I'll switch it up. Like this morning, I'm going on 9 straight days of training because I knew I'm traveling tomorrow. I got a 6:30 a.m. flight. I'm not going to be able to train. So I wanted to put the work in so tomorrow could be a day off. And so today I went out there and I don't have any traditional weight. I don't have a barbell, you know, or a squat bar or anything like that. All I got is stones, rocks, heavy bags, kettlebells, you know, all the heavy shit that we don't like to carry for 4 miles, you know. And so I just went out there and did a strength session that was not under high intense conditions. So I would do 10 reps of chest press with a 100-pound stone, and trying to push that stone when it's this freaking big around, and you're on it. I don't have a bench either, so I'm laying on my back with my feet in the air, you know. So I have that unstable platform. So I switch it up to confuse my body, and also to keep myself reinvigorated, you know. And I'm still a big runner, but I do those other things. And yes, we still do the weekly Zoom PT sessions, but I will be out of town this Friday. So we won't be doing it this Friday. But Cliffy Clayton, strap in, because we're going to start doing some killer freaking sessions here on Zoom. And you got to be like my ranger buddy over here, Ron, and get you some heavy-ass water jugs in lieu of having any weights inside your house. So. Yeah.
You know, I agree, John, is that for what you're doing, Ed, is 5 to 10 miles. That's a lot of cardio. If you want to maintain the build that you have, keep doing that. You know, it's like if you consistently do the same thing, you're going to get, you know, the same results. So if you're trying to bulk up a little bit and add a little bit more muscle, I would definitely take those runs down to maybe every other day. if you want to do those type of runs, then just make sure that if you have a long day, maybe you do another day of sprints, right? On the day that you're doing some strength training, so that you can, kind of not burn so many calories throughout your day.
Anaerobic effect.
Yeah, and as far as weights and stuff, I mean, I'm with John as well. I mean, there's no gym. I don't have any of that shit. I've been doing I do where I pick body, muscle groups, I should say, right? So chest and tris. But what I do now is I do it 2 a day. So I'll do a set in the morning on my days that I lift. Like yesterday, I did a lot of elevated stuff with a slow movements, a 3-2-1, a 3-1-2 count. So you're going down for 3 seconds, holding for 1, up for 2, and that's what's gonna, that slow tempo is what's gonna help you build your muscle. Then I have on my rest day, which was today, I went and did a long zone 4 run. So conversational tempo, kind of it gets the endurance stuff. And what I'm doing is the next 3 weeks is retraining my heart on how to pump more efficiently, because we're gonna planning on doing this marathon in October, this virtual marathon, and want to make sure that your condition, that's the other thing too, is if you have something coming up, and really overall health, which is what you want to do it and stick with it. But shit happens, life us. You stop doing that stuff, you got to get back on that train again. And do the things that suck, like running super freaking slow. But for you, man, I would definitely suggest switching that routine up.
The other thing is, so beyond the training, it's recovering right, and it's listening to your body.
Absolutely.
And knowing when it's time. So like today, after I got done with that training, I said, I need the day off tomorrow, because I've been going for 9 straight days, and that includes what we did on Sunday.
Right.
And and then the other thing is be smart about the vitamin supplementation you take, and I go a long ways with educating myself on what I'm putting in my body. So I know that it's if it's a protein drink, or if it's a multivitamin, or if it's fulvic acid, whatever. I've done the research on it, and it makes sense on what I'm taking, because it's important too, especially if we get older.
Right, and what's also is that, like you said, you know your body, the science behind what you're doing, and what you're doing. So for you to train 9 days in a row, it's because you know what muscle groups to work on, what muscle groups to rest for the next day, how to still get after it. There's different things that you're doing, because how the body works and the proper supplementation, so that you can say, okay, I'm going to be off for a couple of days doing nothing, to allowing your body full rest versus active rest, stuff like that. So other than that, for all of you, Ed, if you're interested in something like this, one thing that I started off with was a 3-day on, 1 day off, 2-day on, and 1 day off. That way you can maximize the amount of days per week, but you're also incorporating some of those, that rest. And even if you wanted to do like an active rest, like one of that off day, maybe you do some kind of cardio or yoga or stretching or something like that. But you definitely have to get that recovery in. Absolutely. So, all right. Candace has another question here. She said, since we are talking fitness diet, your worst diet, best diet, military life included.
So, my best diet, and some people look at it as a diet as, hey, you're trying to lose weight. In my opinion, it's making healthier choices to maintain the weight, okay? It could be losing weight. So the best diet I had was as the SEAC. And I would get up in the morning, I would do my training, whatever it was, variety, either cardio or strength and conditioning, whatever it was. And then I would have a refuel shake, protein shake, and almond milk with a banana in it. Then I would drive to the Pentagon. And when I got to the Pentagon at 8 o'clock in the morning, after my first meeting, I'd go to our little chairman's dining room, get a cup of coffee, and I had 8 sugar-free vanilla wafers. And, I'm a guy that at one time could eat a whole box of sugar full vanilla wafers. But that little snack at 8 o'clock in the morning, dunking it into my coffee, it gave me peace of mind. And then at 10 o'clock, I would have a protein drink, 2 celery sticks, 4 carrots, and 10 grapes. At lunch, I would have a chicken salad or something like that, Caesar salad or something like that. At 2 o'clock, I would have a protein bar, a little 200-calorie Quest bar. At 4 o'clock, I would have 2 rice cakes with peanut butter. And then I'd eat dinner at home with Sandra, and it would either be a little bit of chicken, a little bit of steak with some broccoli or something like that. And that was about 2,200 to 2,400 calories a day. That was my best diet. The worst diet was my first bodybuilding show in 1996, when I basically starved myself. And I went from 210 pounds all the way to 160. And I did not plan my diet properly. I didn't carb upload right. And when it came time to carb deplete it, I was already depleted. And when I got on that stage, dude, it looked like I was more ready to dive into a swimming pool than win a freaking bodybuilding show, man. But having said that, I ended up taking 4th out of my class that had 10 people in it. But I knew I had not trained right. I would get up and I would get lightheaded very easily because I wasn't bringing in enough calories for energy and everything. So those were kind of, my worst diet though is when I'm not watching what I eat, and it's burgers, fries, apple pies, Little Debbie snack cakes, and you name it. So.
Oh man, let's see. My best diet. That would be probably not too long ago, actually, a couple years ago, where I was meal prepping quite a bit. About a year and a half, 2 years ago, and then travel started. Started flying around the country all over the place, and that switched up because now don't have those meals anymore, and on the road. So then I had to start making better decisions. But yeah, I was eating 5 meals a day, on the gain train and all that. So that was a good time, and it was pretty simple meals. It was always a jasmine rice, a vegetable, protein, all weighed out, all laid out, ready to go. Worst diet would be, there was a point in travel where it got pretty bad. Where I was last year, I was on airport food. I didn't eat the airplane food, but I was definitely on the airport food. That Mexican joint that's in Colorado Springs, the taco spot that's in Florida. It's always has some sort of tacos, right? So that's what it was. Huevos rancheros. Oh yeah, all day. And probably washed it down with some sort of Bloody Mary or something. But yeah, that was the worst diet. And that probably lasted a couple of months.
Yeah.
No bueno.
Hey, so I have to amend mine. So, one of our first shows, we had Marine Sergeant Major retired Tony Spadaro on, Spuds, former U.S. Indo-PACOM senior enlisted leader.
We sure did.
So, and when I was the SEAC and I came out there to visit, he and I went to Taiwan for a week. Now, what's interesting about Taiwan is no general officers or flag officers can go to Taiwan because of the One China policy. And even I had to wear civilian clothes when I was there because of that same kind of policy. But when we got there, our Taiwan counterparts, great people, just wonderful people. Every night, each of the services had a dinner. And for 6 straight days, we ate frickin' duck for dinner, dude. And it got to the point that I said, when I get back to the United States, if I see a duck walking down the road, he's getting an ass whooping for general purpose because I'm sick of eating duck. But anyways, I came back from that. Well, how I got around it, I would make it look like on day 3 or 4 that I was eating duck, and I would send my young Marine Sergeant, 𝘵𝘠𝘬𝘕, down to McDonald's and get me something afterward. But I left Taiwan, came back to D.C. for 1 day, flew to Romania, and had dinner with my Romanian counterpart, the Romanian SEAC. And what did that dude feed me?
Duck.
Fucking duck, man. God dang, man. I was like, I can't get away from freaking Daffy and Donald Duck are on the ass whooping list for eternity now, brother. It was rough, man.
So how did that go down? Because you had to eat it. You couldn't show like.
Oh yeah, I was like, you know, but see, here's the deal. So my young Marine, JT Knight, he had called ahead and said, "Hey, look, 86 any duck, you know," and somehow it got lost in translation or something.
More
sure
duck?
Shit, yeah. And not only is the Romanian SEAC sitting there, the Romanian Chief of Defense, the chairman, is sitting there. So, yeah, I had to just suck it up and eat the shit, you know.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, yeah, that was. So I still owe Spadaro an ass whooping for letting those dudes feed me duck every day, man. Hey, speaking of that, man, we've had some pretty good guests on the Ron and John show. I think we're at 17 or 18 now.
Yeah. Last week was 17. Yeah. This is 18, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
We've had some fantastic guests. I mean, when you think about just that recap, I mean,
we have we've had the current Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force, Kay Wright, the future Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force, Joe Bass. We've had the former Cybercom Senior Enlisted Leader, Scott Stalker, who's about to be the U.S. Space Com. You know, so we'll have to bring Stalker back and see if he's figuring out outer space for us here, man.
Yeah. To get the door gunner position yet for the space shuttle.
Yeah.
Door gunner.
And then when you talk about what we're going through now in terms of physical, mental, and emotional health, what about last week with Pat Miletich, UFC Hall of Famer on the show, man?
That one, you know, I mean, we've had a lot of great shows. That one last week, for me was one of the very impactful, very touching, very personal. You know, and I think it was very personal for him as well, and the way that you could, it was just extremely genuine. And it was a side that, because you know, you hear about these coaches that, oh yeah, I've trained with this tier 1 groups or these tier 1s we can't talk about and blah blah blah, what the fuck ever, right? Like, yeah. But you know, when someone like him talks about it, you could hear and you could feel how humble he was to be able to work with these guys and to understand that these guys are just like everyone else and that he's no different that as far as the problems that we face. But that warrior mindset, right? That mentality that for him was forged through different means that, in my mind, you know, puts him in at least a little mental capacity of a warrior that's been through simple training, right? And I mean, it's just there because he commands and deserves the respect because of how he trains. He trains with people. He gets there and you know, tortures and is torturing himself like you do. You know, somebody that leads by example, but also that is able to still be personable. And really know when to take that armor off and put it down and be vulnerable. And, you know, it's something that we wouldn't have been able to do 5-10 years ago, you know, ourselves. It's something that, you know, when you watch these old, you know, the old masters and samurais where they're wise and they can still kick the shit out of you. You see why, you know, and it was just, wow, what an incredible show. What was your favorite part of that show?
Just him opening up about, you know, and you just said it best, brother. You know, physically we can all kind of, you know, show a kind of a macho side. Even, you know, just our physical presence or our, you know, can show a macho side, but mentally and emotionally it may be different. You know, and one of the things I continue to talk about, especially when it comes to veteran suicide or any suicide, is as macho as we look at things like surrender or die. You know, when we tell ISIS, hey, you either surrender or we're going to beat you to death with our entrenching tools, we got to be as macho with, I need help, you know, and I need to talk to somebody, you know, because, and we've talked about it, Ron, on this show, you know, having post-traumatic stress or having a traumatic brain injury or being depressed or something, These are normal reactions to the abnormal circumstances a member of this warrior class has been through. And people will try to tell me all the time, now, I don't have any problems from, military service or combat. And then I'll say, okay, where do you sit at in a restaurant? Well, I make sure I have my eyes on the front door and I can see the kitchen and everything. I said, dude, why? You thinking the nicest fighter is going to come through? Well, no, I've just been conditioned that way. No shit, dude. That's what I just told you. These are normal reactions to the abnormal circumstances we've been through. The worst thing about a warrior, and you and I have had this conversation, is there is fear, but it's fear of not being prepared. Mm-hmm. Not being prepared to do your job, not being prepared to protect your family. So when we get easily startled, we get pissed off at ourselves because we got caught off guard and we weren't prepared, Right. That's normal, from guys and gals that have had to spend decades every day putting that freaking armor on, as you described, and going out and doing our nation's bidding. And so when I heard Pat open up about it, and I will tell you, between Colton Smith and Pat Miletich and Josh Neer, and I'm around a lot of fighters, or I've interacted with them. And you hit it on the head. There are so many similarities between a mixed martial artist and someone that serves in the military, in combat or whatever. There's so many similarities in terms of that physical, mental, and emotional health. And I love the way Pat kind of put it out there. And as you described, showed that he was vulnerable himself.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome from the start to the finish. And then we had the one that the question that I always ask. We had the military spouses on. We had two episodes of the military spouses. Man, it just cracks me up every time I ask that question. I think I even asked it on the trail or something like that. Have you ran into anybody that wears their husband's rank or wears their spouse's rank?
Oh yeah, and they're out there, dude. They're all over out there, man.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, there was a general one time that came to visit when I was the post sergeant major at Fort Knox, and Sandra, had to be a part of entertaining his wife. And everywhere she went, and she would talk to people and she'd say, do they know who my husband is? Do you know who my husband is and everything? And these are young spouses. And they're like, I could tell, Sandra was describing some of the looks like, you ain't all that, okay? All right? I don't know who your husband is, but you ain't all that, all right? And then we had a spouse one time, and I'll tell this about Sandra. We were at a conference, a major conference with one of the major 4-star commands. And this was shortly after I had come back from the surge in Iraq, where for 15 months, as bad as the deployment was for all of us in the 4th Stryker Brigade Forward, it was equally as bad for the spouses. And then to top it off, my next door neighbor, Sergeant Major Brad Connor, was killed in action, which Sandra was back there at the time. But anyways, so this senior spouse, Sandra is talking about, hey, this is what we got to do for our young E4 spouses and private spouses and everything. And this woman had the gall to tell Sandra, hey, you have no idea what's going through their head there. Now, granted, this woman married into the Army when her husband was a very, very, very senior leader. So she had zero reference of the military. And she thought because Sandra was married to me that she had forgotten where she came from. So what does Sandra tell her? She goes, have you ever been an E1's wife, an E2, an E3, an E4, E5, E6, E7, E8? Have you ever been that wife? No, I think I know what I'm talking about. And oh, by the way, I just got through going to 54 funerals when my husband was deployed overseas. That woman got pissed and walked out. What did the rest of the spouses do? Gave Sandra an ovation, man. But my point is, arrogance is the downfall of everybody, whether they're in uniform or whether they're a spouse. And if there's a spouse out there and she's expecting her whether it's a male or female going up, expecting them to go up, the arrogance of the spouse can cost them from further growth and development, and it's a killer, man. And that's why being humble and humility is so important in our profession, brother.
I agree. And, you know, I'm thinking is that for the next episode that we have for military spouses, we need to flip the script on it. We need to bring two male military spouses and get their perspective and see what that flip side is like. Like we were talking to Monty about it just briefly, and he's already being asked to go to FRG meetings for a 4-day.
One of the family readiness group meetings, yeah. So our good friend Monty may be in charge of bake sales, man. So it's all good though, you know. Not a flaw in anybody's character.
Hey,
you know,
maybe he can learn how to get the garbanzo beans and do the meringue with that stuff, with that egg replacement shit or something. I don't know. I heard something on it.
Yeah. Hey, you know, the other thing another show I truly liked was Dr. Ken Hartman, you know, When America Salutes. When you talk about, you know, the future of not only this nation, but of our United States military, the greatest military on the planet, bar none. And I don't say that to be arrogant. I say that because I've been around the world as the SEAC, and I've seen we've got great partners, but none come to us, which is why we're the partner of choice around the world. But listening to Ken Hartman's passion for honoring these high school graduating seniors that have already enlisted and or are going to a service academy or to ROTC to go and join the military. That was awesome having that guy on, because you could tell he was truly passionate about what he was doing.
100%, and the way that he grew that from just an idea, from just, hey, I feel I need to do something, to 150,000, 150,000 across
150,000.
150,000. I mean, that's incredible, and it just made me remember, you know, when I was that, you know, buck 20 wet, snotty 17-year-old, you know, walking in with the chip off his shoulder, you know, just off the block, and wondering, you know, not wondering anything. I just knew, I just assumed nobody gives a shit. It's just, I'm going in, you know, to disappear.
Yeah.
And to see what they're doing now to honor those that are going in, because it's a choice. And there's a lot of, you know, for some folks, it's a lot of pressure. For most folks, it's a lot of pressure, especially those that are maybe, and some of my friends that, you know, so I didn't have an opportunity at, you know, getting college paid for and stuff like that, but I had a couple buddies that did, and they made the conscious decision to say, I don't want to do that shit. I want to go over here and enlist. And those are the ones that were like, why the hell did you do that? But we're thankful that they did, right? We're thankful that there were some folks like that went in there, because man, it saved our ass a couple of times. So it's awesome.
Hey, so hey folks, you're watching the Ron and John Show by Veterans Lending Group. If you're on and you're expecting to see Chef Andre Rush, he had some travel disruptions and difficulties, and he was unable to be here, but we'll get him back on a later episode, hopefully in September or sometime. Hey, you know, the other thing is, you know, it was great having Colton Smith and Griff on, which has been our most popular show.
Absolutely.
But, you know, one of the things I've always done, you know, and I don't know why, but, you know, I've always asked somebody, you know, if they start describing somebody or somebody pisses them off or anything, and I say, well, can you kick their ass? You know, I mean, I would tell it to some of my sergeant majors, you know, like Phil Pitch and Chris Greca. They'd be complaining about somebody. I'd say, well, can you kick his ass?
Yeah.
They'd be like, what the fuck is you asking me that for?
Yeah.
Well, I'm just asking, can you kick his ass? And I used to do it all the time to Colton Smith, you know, and his normal answer would be, I'd chop him down, you know.
Yeah.
And we were visiting 3rd Ranger Battalion down in Fort Benning, and I had a NCO call. So I had all the NCOs of 3rd Ranger Battalion and the Ranger Special Troops Battalion in the theater there, and I'm talking to them and everything, and Colton is with me, and Rob Couture, who has been on the show, you know, my public affairs guy.
Yeah.
And we get done, and we're walking out, and I asked Colton, hey, any of them hardened Rangers in there kick your ass? He said, not a one of them. And I asked Couture, is there anyone in there that you can kick their ass? And he said, well, maybe one or two.
Yeah.
But speaking of Couture, that dude, every time I ask him if he could kick somebody's ass, we travel all over the world, and there'd be some 7-foot-tall Russian guy getting on a plane with us on our way to Ukraine, and I'd say, "Can you kick his ass?" I would have to say I've asked probably 500 times that dude that question, and his record is about like 496-4. He is like almost unbeatable in what he thinks in terms of kicking people's asses. It's all about self-confidence, though, right?
It's all about self-confidence, right?
So now I'm gonna start asking Kramer, Dustin, that question everywhere we go now. Hey, can you kick that guy's ass? Even though the guy's 6'5", 300 pounds, can you kick his ass? All right,
can you kick his ass. Yeah. And here's the flip side of that. If they say yes, then you have to ask the follow-on question. Tell me how you do it.
Yeah.
What will be the first thing that you do? Oh,
yeah.
Man. Yeah.
So hey, let's do our own rapid fire here, man. Between the two of us.
All right. Let's do it. Let's see what she got. All right.
Okay. So first of all, I had nothing to do with this senator. All right. Okay. So I am just gonna. And I'm serious. I had nothing to do with this. But something happened to me when we did a live show at 𝘬𝘠 Brewery, and I'm going to bring the evidence up again, where I left my notebook. To the audience out there, I left my notebook at 𝘬𝘠 Brewery after the show and left. And Sandra and I were almost home, and I called back, and of course my battle buddy Ron doesn't answer his damn phone. Jared, the owner of the bar, doesn't answer his phone, so who I call? Mike Villano, from Veterans Lending Group. And I said, "Mike, you still in the 𝘬𝘠 Brewery?" And he says, "I haven't moved since you left." I said, "Hey, can you make sure somebody secures my notebook?" And he says, "Yeah." He says, Ron's got it. So when I get the notebook back from Ron, now I understand the rules. When you leave your shit unsecure and somebody else grabs it, then you're at the mercy of whatever they do to it. So I accepted it and I drove on. But the same night that I got my notebook back at 𝘬𝘠 Brewery, we drank a ton of freaking craft beer, brother. You went home and something happened to you, and I had nothing to do with it. But can you describe to our audience what happened to you that night?
Well,
don't be too graphic.
Apparently, when leaving equipment or chow unsecure, it's up for grabs, or when you pass out prematurely before you get to your destination, it's also the rules are in play. So on my responsible way home, I took a long blink of a nap and get home safely. Got to my door, my destination, woke up. And when I woke up, I looked down on my leg, and there was the same drawing. Well, it was a big phallic object drawn on my leg, and it was not the balls.
Okay, all right. I was gonna say, yeah,
and and I had no idea how it happened. I was scratching my head. Then there was also a number on my bicep, Jenny.
8675309.
8675309. And I almost called it. I almost called the damn number because I didn't know what was going on. So yeah, if you pass out, you can get that stuff drawn. Thankfully, no one got the Sharpie all over my face and like it was a private again. And yeah. But I heard there was a couple of questions asked, but it's all right. It's all in good fun.
Hey, when I got notified, I said, "Hey, this dude's gonna think I did it, and I had nothing to do with it, man." But the person that did it owned up, and it's all good.
It's all good. It really is. It's all good. All right, let's see here. So let's see here. Let's see what's a good question here. All right. Now, Sandra, first question is, does she still cut your hair?
Yes.
Okay.
She cut my hair yesterday.
It looks great. Looks great. So when was the first time that she cut your hair? And was that the first time that she told you, if you move, I will fucking cut you?
Yes. Well, no, I don't know that that's the first time she ever told me that if I moved, she would cut me. But she was, so the first time she cut my hair was about 3 or 4 months ago, right when the COVID lockdown kind of happened. And she said she could cut my hair. And so she started cutting, and I started beeping, and she says, if you don't shut the hell up, I will cut your effing throat, she says. But now she's a champ. She cut my hair last night in like 15 minutes, done. And then she knocked out my grandson's hair too right after that. So it all worked out good, brother.
No, I was gonna say it's looking good, man. I asked
yeah,
because
she
it
hooked
like
me
she's
up,
been doing
man.
it for a while. I figured she's been doing it, a while, but now it looks like you're saving a ton of money there.
Absolutely. Yeah, she's my barber now, man. She's all over it. So hey, if you like I told my grandson last night, mijo, all you got to do is sit down and say one word, off. Okay.
Off.
He was like, what? I was like, no, grandma will hook you up, man. So it was all good, brother.
Well, was that a little?
Hey, so should we talk about what we got on the show next week?
Yeah, let's do that. Who do we have on the show next week, brother?
So we have the president of Muscle and Fitness, and he is also the director of the Mr. Olympia weekend, which is going to happen in December this year. And oh, by the way, Ron and John show will be there, along with the Villanos, and Sandra will be with us too. All right. Now I don't want you, trying to outpose Brandon Curry or anything, brother. All right. But Dan Solomon will be our guest next week. He's going to talk to us about everything Muscle and Fitness does to support the military and our veterans. The Muscle and Fitness, they're not printing right now because of the COVID, but the magazine is available online, and they do an annual military fitness issue, so that's good. And then, the Olympia weekend is just a big weekend with a lot of good things going on, and whether it's fitness, but also they do a lot to bring veterans in that are kind of into the bodybuilding and everything. So we look forward to picking his brain next week when he's on the show. So it ought to be a good one, brother. Yeah,
brother. That sounds awesome. And then we have a lineup for the following week where we are doing the Ron and John show live.
Hi, from right? Goodfellow Air Force Base, the NCO Club. Well, we'll have a bunch of soldiers and airmen with us. We'll be social distancing, though. Okay, yep. As long as the bartender isn't social distancing with us. But we will have on Iron Mike Stedman, who is the president of Ironbound USA Boxing. He is a Navy Academy graduate, and he is a Marine veteran, and he's doing a lot now to give back to children and veterans through the sport of boxing. And then we finish out the month with Jessia Wuji, who is another Naval Academy graduate, former Navy football player, and now a NASCAR truck circuit driver. And then hopefully we'll get Chef Andre Rush on the following week after that, so we can hear about these 2,222 push-ups a day, man.
Exactly. And what kind of diet he has to maintain to keep those 24-inch pythons.
Oh, geez.
I mean, that's just crazy. That's yeah. I have so many questions that deserve answers. The people need to know.
Yeah. Hey, and the future looks bright for the Ron and John show, brother. We're going to be making our way to Fort Carson and Peterson Air Force Base, Colorado. We're going to be at the Air Force Academy. We're going to be in Washington, D.C. We're going to be in Quantico, Virginia with the Marines. And then we're going to be at several Army bases. So wherever we go, we look forward to being with the troops and continuing to get after the things that are important to the troops and to our veterans, especially when it comes to their VA home loan benefit.
Absolutely. And, now this is the part where we always say Veterans Lending Group. Obviously the Ron and John show is proudly sponsored by Veterans Lending Group, where we can ETS, PCS, retire wherever it is that you are. Whether that be a refinance, a new purchase, multiple home purchases. And if you haven't known, we also have an education library. which I am thankfully and honored to be one of the co-authors of. And one of the main educators, along with Lee and Brooke Villano, where we have classes from the basic VA Home Loan Bootcamp. We also have a class that we've just written called the VA Home Loan Bootcamp 2.0, where we actually show veterans and military service members how to create generational wealth utilizing their VA home loan benefit. We have credit building strategies for those that might have some challenges. We also have a class specific to refinances and all the intricate pieces that go into that to see if, and when and if it's right for you. And also, the other part of that, because a rising tide always lifts all ships, is we have an education series for our real estate agents on how to better serve military clients so that they understand exactly how to negotiate a good deal on your behalf, how to negotiate closing costs if need be, and really just understanding the versatility and being a force multiplier out there so we can defeat some of that veteran discrimination that's going on out there in the real estate industry. So we look forward to seeing you all every Wednesday, 4 p.m. And like John says, we are going to be on the road. We love working with our service members, visiting all these different military installations to talk about getting after the enemy, talking about getting after your transition, and talking about getting after your mental health. So with that, to everybody, thank you so much for coming. John, what are your final words, brother?
Hey, it's the Ron and John Show. We're known coast to coast like butter and toast. We can make ISIS surrender or die, or we can make the nerdiest guy look kind of fly. We can drink like we've been singing all night long. We can sing like we've been drinking all night long. So if you're ever in trouble, don't you delay. Or if you're looking for a good time, don't you delay. Tune into the Ron and John Show, because me and this Ranger here, we lead the way. Boom.
Boom.
Have a good week, everybody.
We'll see y'all next week.
We'll see y'all
Have
next
a great
week.
one, brother.
Bye-bye.